Apparently, the average gamer is well past his or hers mid-30s, which actually aligns pretty much with myself and my friend group. And if you are also falling within that particular group of people, well, Sony's new INZONE lineup of premium gaming peripherals might be for you. Sounds like quite a stretch. Not really if you ask me, since despite the fact that it seems like the group of passionate gamers who can actually afford high quality gear, in addition to professional esports players of course, is a lot older than you might think, most of the gaming branded stuff you can find looks like, well, let's say with tons of RGB and aggressive styling, it might cater more to a younger audience, which does not have to think about that gaming peripherals should match with a nice set of curtains. Sony, on the other hand, along with just a very limited handful of competitors, goes a very different route, and I have had the chance to test the full set they announced at Gamescom last year. So we have some new mousepads, a headset based on their pretty well-received consumer headphones, a light gaming mouse and a mechanical keyboard, along with wired in-ears that actually surprised me quite a bit. And while they sure look nice and subtle, you are definitely paying a premium here. So let's see if it's all worth it and if you should consider the new INZONE gaming peripherals for your next game and work from home setup. Let's get into it. Let's start right away with the INZONE H90 II, since these headphones have been the highlight product for me during Gamescom, and Sony put pretty much everything in here you could possibly ask for. So you get a very good mic, which we will get to in a second, active noise cancelling, a high quality yet super lightweight chassis and a pretty sleek looking design. And to top it all off, you can also use these wired, which is a huge bonus for me personally, since you can not only use the INZONEs to monitor your camera audio, for example, but since most in-flight entertainment systems still rely on a wired connection as well, these are also great overall travel companions. Thanks to the weight and generous cushioning, the H9s are very comfortable, and since the ear cups can also rotate freely, they should fit easily on most head shapes and sizes, and even wearing these for hours on end wasn't a problem for me personally. The only thing I'm not the biggest fan of is the way you adjust the positioning of the headband, since it's almost impossible to do that with just one hand. But since it's not something you have to do multiple times a day, that is definitely just a minor nitpick. Overall, the mechanism feels very premium though, and the same goes for the whole headset, and somehow Sony managed to make them feel expensive despite their very low weight. I'm just not the biggest fan of this sort of soft touch material on the ear cups, since while it feels nice, it can look grimy after just a few days of use, so you definitely have to wipe these every now and then. As I have mentioned already, you get quite a few options for connecting your shiny new headset to your device, either with a 2.5 GHz wireless dongle, which is thankfully quite small and compact, or via Bluetooth or wired with a 3.5mm jack. You can also use Bluetooth and the wireless connection simultaneously, which is also very handy, since I always had the H90s connected to my phone, and you can easily take a call, for example, without losing your game audio or whatever else you're doing on your main machine at the time. Alright, sounds pretty good so far, yep, and we are not done with the good stuff yet, since these also sound amazing. And it really does not matter what you're doing, since these are great for listening to music, playing games of course, or for editing and mastering your YouTube videos. I am by no means an audiophile, and sound is also very subjective, but I think Sony nailed a very balanced overall profile without being boring, and the H9s are also quite transparent, which is great for games if you want to know where certain shots are coming from and if you are, like me, into busier music. So personally, I never felt the need to tweak anything with the equalizer you got access to with Sony's INZONE Hub software, and these have been a great fit for me doing pretty much everything I do with headphones throughout the day. And again, thanks to the very effective noise cancelling and generous connection options, they are much more versatile than the classification and marketing as a gaming headset might imply. Overall, mic quality is also amongst the best you can currently get for a wireless headset, but do not take my word for it, since I also recorded this sample for you. And if you want to see a full video I did with the H9s, maybe check out our Arc Raiders game test from a few months ago. And while we are on the subject of audio, when I asked Sony for the H9s, they also asked me if I would want to check out their wired in-ears, and I got to admit I was pretty skeptical, since I have gone wireless for pretty much all audio products I personally use, since Well, it's been a while, but it's actually quite convenient to be able to just plug in your headphones in an instant, and since these also pack a USB-C adapter, you once again should not have a problem connecting them to pretty much everything. So I use them for gaming, for some video editing on the go, on handhelds and phones, in addition to laptops of course, and with a sound profile that I would describe as more than good enough. I would not mind having them in my kit, especially since the carrying case is quite compact for what is basically a very reliable, always with you kind of audio solution. If I would be ready to pay the price here for that kind of convenience is a different question though, but we will talk about value later on. Which leaves us with the new keyboard and mouse Sony introduced alongside the audio products we just talked about, and similarly to those you get subtly looking, premium feeling, gaming focused peripherals that will not look or feel out of place in a work from home setup as well. And I especially like the Mouse A, and quite contrary to the other products in the INZONE lineup, for what is a relatively competitive price. You get one of the lightest mice currently on the market that comes with all the bells and whistles you would come to expect with such a premium price tag. Similar to Razer's DevAdder V4 Pro we tested a little while ago, the Mouse A can also deliver up to an 8000Hz polling rate, and despite the low weight, this little guy feels sturdy and surprisingly grippy, especially considering the overall smaller footprint compared to what Razer has on offer. Again, cleaning this one is a bit of a pain, but that also holds true for the DevAdder, but apart from that I do not really have anything to complain about. Tracking feels incredibly accurate, the mouse switches are very tactile and direct, and even the mouse wheel feels perfectly weighted. Battery life has also been a non-issue for me, to a point where I cannot even tell when the last time I charged this one was, despite using it as a daily driver for about 2 months now. If you want an answer if this is the best Aura mouse for competitive titles, well, I'm afraid I'm too much of a casual gamer to really judge any of these super high-end models when it comes to professional use. But for me, this one feels equal to the Viper V3 Pro or the DevAdder V4 Pro I've used before, which is actually quite impressive considering that this is Sony's first esports focused mouse in general. Similarly, I can also not tell you if a mouse mat can make or break your gameplay, which apparently can be the case, and Sony also introduced 2 different mouse mats, either with a bit more grip or the so-called Mat-D, which lets your new mouse glide a bit better. All I can tell you is that both of these are really well made, and from a visual standpoint I actually really like the one with the purple gradient, while subjectively the black one, which also adds quite a bit more depth, felt better for me personally. But again, if you are a professional, you will probably know which one fits your playstyle, otherwise you will probably just get the one that feels and looks nicer. But feel free to let me know what you think about this. Is this something I am sleeping on, or how do you guys choose your mouse mats or pads? Sound off below. So let's talk keyboard, and for this one I'm a little bit on the fence, which unfortunately has nothing to do with the product itself. Quite the contrary, since the linear switches feel and sound great, and the build quality does once again not offer anything to complain about, with a plastic bottom plate, an aluminium top cover and a very well weighted volume knob. Similarly to the whole lineup, the KBD-75 looks super clean and will easily complement every setup. And once more, no matter if you are gaming or simply want a premium keyboard for all of your typing endeavors, you will probably be very happy with this one. The only problem here is value, and with a $300 sticker price, it's for example a lot more expensive than the ROG Asof, which is usually my daily driver and one of my favorite keyboards in general, or puts it in a similar price bracket of the even more premium built glorious GMMK3 Pro, which is a very tough spot to be in if you ask me. And actually that holds true for almost the entire lineup, maybe apart from the thinner of the 2 mouse pads and the Mouse A, but especially the H90 IIs and the keyboard are priced a little too high. That said, for the headset there aren't too many competitors which offer exactly the same feature set, and actually the only ones that could match the Sonys would be Razer's Black Shark V3 Pros, which cost quite a bit less, even though I have to admit the noise cancelling is not on the same level, and for some weird reason it doesn't work at all when you use these with the 3.5mm jack, which is especially annoying when being on a plane, and they are also a bit heavier. So yeah, I am torn, as you might have noticed by now, since for one, I really enjoyed my time with the whole setup, and it's actually a breath of fresh air to finally have high-end gaming peripherals that still look as subtle as Sony's INZONE lineup. But again, I just feel like they might have put themselves in a tougher spot with their pricing than needed be, and a little bit of an adjustment would probably do wonders for being slightly more competitive without leaving the premium space they most likely want to occupy. But please folks, let me know what you think, sound off in the comments below. And with that, it's already about time to say goodbye for today. Please leave a like and sub on your way out, and maybe have a look around the channel for more about tech, laptops and video games. My name is Alex, you have been fantastic, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Take care.